We're back on the air. My name is Jeffrey Davis. I am the host of Radio Entrepreneurs. And just like Greg Stoller has the Language of Business show, every once in a while, he gives us the pleasure of coming in and reporting to us about international business. And he's here with us today. Welcome, Greg.
Hi, Jeffrey. How are you?
Great. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well.
Great. So you're back to China, right?
I am back to China. I'm doing something I've never done before. As our listeners might remember, I have over a decade-long relationship with a boutique strategy consulting firm in Beijing, China. They sponsor programs for MBA students where their client list is exclusively publicly traded and privately held Chinese firms. Our graduate students do work on behalf of their clients. We get the assignments on June 1st. We do 6 months of consulting work, and then the students travel over with me to Beijing, and the students present twice, once to the consulting firm and a second time to its client. Now we are trying an experiment in the last week of August. The client has asked me to do a 3-city speaking tour in China, Beijing, Kunming, and Shanghai, talking about international entrepreneurship and international management accounting.
In Chinese?
In Chinese.
Wow. Is that a challenge at all for you?
Yeah, this one is throwing me for a bit of a loop in the sense that it is not structured, in the sense that it's not just the same dog and pony show type speech. We're going to get up and give it, and people are going to applaud, hopefully, and then move on. This is going to be workshop style. This is going to be a lot of Q&A.
Q&A, so you're going to have to really hear them.
And as often happens with these things, is I am on version 6 of my PowerPoint slideshow, and they keep coming back with revisions and changes. It's pretty heady stuff.
Wow.
But it's also, on one hand, I'm elated and extremely honored. On the other hand, I'm a little bit nervous, just because the amount of people coming to each of these speeches I've heard is quite high, and I just hope I present well.
Any sense of the stylistic difference between the audience in China and an audience here in, let's say, the United States?
That's a really good question. I think that prima facie, the audience is going to be a lot quieter and probably more shy. But my experience,
more respectful.
Right, exactly. But my experience has always been, especially with the Chinese, is if you present even a portion of your presentation in their language, if you show them that you are open to critique and discussion, in many cases you can't shut them up. And I view that as being a net benefit as opposed to a pejorative. So right. I'm very excited to see if that's going to bear itself out, even with hundreds and hundreds of people in the room.
Again, how did this whole thing come to be?
So I think that, like any business, nothing's on cruise control. I'm sure our listeners are well aware that China's economy has seen better times. Every large economy in the world goes through its perfunctory 7 or 8 year cycles. Unfortunately, China, well, certainly not at the trough, is in a position where it is in, shall we say, adjustment mode. Every single company is trying to innovate. It's trying to reposition themselves. Not very dissimilar, Jeffrey, as to what we did in the States in the turn of the millennium, and then again in 07, 08, 09, and 2010. Right. People are trying to pull the next rabbit out of their hat. A lot of the move in China right now, outside of private industries, is to enlist the help of foreign experts. So this is sort of the first step in that direction. Is to bring in somebody who's not Chinese, who can talk about American practices, international practices, and how they might relate to China. I give a lot of credit to our consulting partner in the sense, instead of resting on their laurels and saying we've had the same 5 or 6 clients for the past X number of years and we're just going to continue doing what we're doing, they are looking for innovative ways to keep themselves relevant. And by the way, this isn't the first time they've done this dance. The first or second time they did it, they were remarkably successful in terms of reinventing themselves once again.
Greg, so much going on in your world. If somebody wants to connect with you, how would they find you?
They can reach me at my Boston University Questrom School of Business email address. It's gstoller@bu.edu. That's GSTOLLER @BU, as in Boston University.edu.